Hey guys, Richard here from Shoreline Fishing. So it is getting to that mid to late season fishing, almost beginning of November here. So it's getting to the later part of fall anyways. Temps are quite warm right now in most areas. We'll hit lows of 2 or 3 overnight, but then we go to the next day, we're 8 or 9 overnight. And during the day, we're hitting as high as 16 in some areas. So the weather's kind of helping us right now prolong our fishing. Temps in the waters have dropped. Kawarthas, I know, are a little bit cooler. Last time I was in the Kawarthas, they were about 50, so that's getting to the lower end in the Kawartha lakes anyways. I don't know about Lake St. Clair or any of the bigger lakes like that. So I thought I'd do a video on what do you troll when you get to the later portion of the year. So I've done like my favorite baits to troll. I've, my 16-inch Clarkie and a bunch of the other fun baits that I have. There's a few things that are kind of, I get dilemmas with myself this time of year. It's because, bigger's always better when you're slow rolling a big 13, 14, 12-inch bait, 15-inch bait. It just seems to work at this time of year. That being said, my first bait out when I go to St. Clair this year, I'm going in the middle of November, will be this 14-inch BR minnow. You can't not get this out in the water. This is something that I'll run for probably an hour and a half straight. Funny enough, I do that. I usually do time slots, or I set a timer on my phone, that kind of way of doing it, just because I don't want to sit there changing baits too much. You get lost in a tunnel if you just changing a bait every 20 minutes, thinking it's been hours, but it's not. So I set a timer kind of to say, okay, this is the bait. I'm running this bait for an hour, 20 minutes straight. That's it. I'm going to run it, won't touch it. I'll maybe check it for weeds, but that's about it. So when I go to Lake St. Clair, that's the first bait that'll be out. So, you have your big baits. You have your 14s. I have a 15-inch shimmy here that I will be running as well. That's a 15-inch shimmy. I have a 12-inch mega bait that Noah makes as well. That will be run as well. So I have my bigger end of the baits kind of covered, whether it's, 12s, 14s, 15s. I even have a 16, 12. So I'm over that 12-inch mark. Then I have something that I do really like to run this time of year as well, and that is my 9-inch BWB. I love the way these baits pull, and this time of year, I find this is when they're the most productive, just because the size is kind of unique. It's different, and I think it works really well. I know a few guys have caught PBs on them this time of year, and they swear by them. He makes a 12-inch model. I don't actually own any of the 12-inch models. I used to own 2 of them. I got rid of them. They didn't do well for me, and I think that's something that you have to look at as well. You got to look at where the forage of the lakes you're fishing. If you're in the Kawarthas, I probably won't go over 12 inches is a bait size. I know a lot of guys go 14s, 15s. Oh, come on, man. You can. I just don't. I usually run 12. The most I'll run is that BR minnow, maybe at 14. That 15-inch shimmy shad, depending on the day. But that's just because I like to get it out there because it's a lot of fun to fish. And I know if it goes off, it's going to be a decent fish. But I don't run much more than 12 inches in the Kawartha just because I find that's something that works for me in the Kawarthas. But Lake St. Clair, that 12, that 15, that I've had my 16 out before. Steve thought I was crazy. We ended up talking to somebody else we knew. They were pulling around a 15-inch throat punch. They got 4 fish on it, and I had my 16 out for about an hour and a bit. I didn't get any rips. He goes, Rich, you're wasting time, man. That's too big. It's not always the case. Sometimes the bigger vibration, and you need that. In Lake St. Clair, there's a lot of bait at times, so you need to make yours separated from the rest. Now, I've talked about nothing but big baits. That being said, something like this beauty 9-inch BR with a little rattle. Sometimes a rattle this time of year could be key. There's guys who buy baits only because of their rattles. And I support all local bait makers. You've seen all the baits I've showed you are local guys. I'm not sponsored by any of them. I don't have any cahoots with any of them. This is just my personal kind of what I use. And something a little smaller than that. Where is he? I think he's in this spot here. No, that's still too big. Where was he? I have a smaller guy that I like to show you guys because I think a lot of guys stray away from the smaller baits this time of season, and I don't get why. It's okay, this 7.5-inch Suban. Gorgeous size. Something like this, my son Austin tells me this is what's going to kill it out there this fall. Sometimes downsizing in a cold front isn't a bad idea. I know you slow roll these big baits, and you think that that's the best idea. It may not be depending on the conditions. So really don't stick to something all day. Like I've had guys who go out and they'll throw something like this all day. Hey, good on you. If it works, it works. But if you've gone 2-3 hours and you've had nothing, try changing it up. Go smaller. Don't just stay in the same size slot. Like, I love these guys this time of year, my 13-inch believers. Something like this, jointed, it's big, moves a lot of water, big rattle in it. It does a lot of good. I also run my 10. I run a variety of sizes this time of year, but realistically, it depends on the waters I'm fishing. If I'm in the Kawarthas, I will troll my 13-inch believer. Honestly, I will. Not for a long period of time. I like to troll my 12-inch Clarkie in the Kawarthas just because it is a very decent bait to run and it can stay shallow. A lot of 10-inch baits though this time of year. Believers, 10s, shimmy shad 10s, a few of my BR 7.5s and 9s that I have. That's just kind of what the size I'll go to. I try to stay mostly below 12 in the Kawarthas just because I feel like it's such a... The forage is not as big there. Like, you know, you might get a 12-inch sucker. You might get a 14-inch sucker. I find they're a little bit more rare though compared to where you go to St. Clair where you can... We've seen the shad jumping and some of them have been 6-7 inches and those are small compared to the, like, and that's just what you see at the surface. So there is a lot of big feed, fatty feed there. So, you know, getting something to match your forage is kind of what you need to look to do. So that's why, like I said, you don't have to, you know, I love my BR bait. I will troll this for probably 2 to 3 hours in St. Clair a day. So if I'm there for 3 days and I get 6 to 8 hours on this guy alone, I have a lot of faith in it because that time of year, that body of water, a minnow style bait is huge. So that's something you got to really look at, guys. Look at the forage, look at the waters you're fishing. Like I know up north, if you're in the Lake of the Woods, or if you're in, you know, northern Ontario, they're trolling these big guys in the summer even. And that's just because it's the forage, the fish there, they like it, so they do it. Grandmas are big too. I don't have any grandmas or jakes, but I know a lot of guys love those, and they are a great bait to run. A very inexpensive bait to run too, really. You know, just buy a bunch of replacement lips or have super glue and just glue that one back on, you're good to go. So guys, anyways, that's just the video I wanted to do. A nice little fast one. It's not really fast, but I wanted to get it done. Thank you guys for the support as of late. Comment, like, and subscribe if you guys have not. And hopefully you bag your PB and a giant this fall. See you soon.